I remember Michael always making you laugh. And when I would try to be funny, you would just look at me and be like,
no,
you're so obvious. Like my humor is very obvious where Michael's is very creative. Yeah. Thanks for that.
I can't comment on that. I thought you were just as funny as Michael, sir.
Welcome back to Talkville, the ultimate Smallville rewatch podcast. You know the ropes, guys. Thanks for listening. If you're a patron, we love you. And thanks for supporting the show, patreon.com/Talkville. And if you want to support my podcast, Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum, that would be awesome.
Or don't.
Patreon.com/Inside of You. Or don't. You know, it's up to you. It's what started it all.
So. Or follow Ryan on Instagram. That would be good.
Yeah. A lot of great stuff happening here. Ryan's here. Tom's here. Bryce is here. I just picked my nose. Sorry if you saw that. Some cons coming up, so make sure you check out my Instagram at the Michael Rosenbaum, my link tree, all the stuff me and Tom are doing. We're both on Cameo. Rosie's Puppy Fresh Breath on Amazon. If you want your dog's breath to smell good, it's my new product with my picture on the cover, and lots of other stuff too. The fart book, don't forget the fart book. If you haven't bought a fart book, for God's sakes, if everybody bought a fart book who listens to this, that'd be.
I mean, if you've never bought a fart book in your life, this is the one to buy.
It is. It's really, I'm so proud of it. I went to Barnes and Noble and I was like, do you have the Talented Farter? And they're like, actually, we just have one copy left. I'm like, whoa. And we found it.
I feel like Matthew McConaughey could really.
Could you imagine if I can get Matthew McConaughey to read? It's like, and then little Michael, man, he just kept farting, man. He farted like a fart out of hell, man. All right, said Michael.
You got the green light to fart.
Why don't you dorks?
So, thank you for being here.
Yes. Let's just get into it. You know where to go. The show's description, everything. We're just going to continue on. And without further ado, let's get into season 6, episode 6. This is called Fallout. Title Fallout aired November 2nd, my mom's birthday, 2006. GLEN Winter directed it. First episode this season. Writers Holly Harold.
Oh, wow.
I loved Holly. Guest star Aaron Ashmore as Jimmy Olsen, Pascal Hutton as Raya, and Bow Wow as Lamar Johnson, and Baern, chicka Baern. When the Zoners come looking for Kal-El, Clark leans on the expertise of his fellow countrymen to help restore his mission in saving the world. And the episode begins with two things foreign to Smallville, hip-hop music and one-on-one basketball, as we see Lamar Johnson playing just like Mike and winning a bet. His post-game discussions are interrupted when a meteor from the sky crash lands near them, hoping it's the monsters from Space Jam. Is it Monstars?
Yes.
Oh, I don't remember it. Monstars from Space Jam. Jeez.
No, Bryce is just dropping a bunch of millennial knowledge here, and you're just breezing right through it.
I know. Lamar goes to investigate and gets possessed by a Dementor-like creature that escaped from the Phantom Zone, demanding to know where Kal-El is. Kal-El. Yeah, a lot going on here. I don't know Bow Wow, so I didn't realize what song does he sing?
Bow Wow Wow yippee.
No,
well, ask Bryce.
My dog's
he
wrote it.
He
Snoop
wrote
Dogg is his uncle.
Really?
Yeah, that's how he got in.
Bryce,
yeah, it was
what
Master
did he sing?
P, right?
Or Master P.
Or is that
Well, there's Lil Romeo too,
Lil Romeo? That's Master P's son.
who ended up playing basketball at
God.
USC. Bow Wow played in Like Mike, where he got some magic shoes, and then he joined the NBA.
Great movie.
I think this is right after he dropped the Lil, and now
Moving
he's
on.
Welcome to Talkville,
Also,
where we
hold
figure
on.
it out as we're figuring it out.
Yes. Elsewhere in Metropolis, we see two inconspicuous limos making an exchange. Insider Dr. Grohl and Lana Lang. Grohl fears the reality of what he's uncovered with his testing and is planning his escape. And unbeknownst to them, their rendezvous gets captured by Wonder Boy Jimmy Olsen, who snaps photos of the scene. How or why, not sure, but we'll find out. He's adorable.
The next day in Smallville, Clark and Chloe discuss the recent crash landing in Oakland, which, by the way, we have Smallville, Star City, Gotham, but we're sticking with Oakland, the real place. Just to why? Why can't we make up a city?
That's kind of weird.
Why are we doing that?
Yeah, we could have come up with something else. Like,
There's no Chicago, there's no Cleveland. Why we got an
how
Oakland?
about Upland?
Or just like
Upland?
even Oak Town. That would have been like a nice little nod to the town. Whatever. I'm done.
I just need to throw that out there.
Ryan's
Should we
mad at
call Al?
Smallville. Ryan's mad at Smallville.
After learning about the possible zoner interference, Clark plans
Bryce
on
heard
playing a little zone defense and heading to the Yay area. Yep, that's good. To figure out what's going on.
You want to take that back?
Nope.
Yeah. We're good. All right. Look, this episode gets a little hokey, but there's some cool. Wait for it.
Should we call Al?
No,
Can we try?
not on this one. He won't remember it at all. After Chloe leaves Raya,
He
the woman who
remembers
saved
everything.
him from the Phantom Zone, we saw her getting killed, like stabbed. How is she alive? She waltzes in his barn, no limp. Forgetting that he saw her get killed in front of his eyes, Clark is happy to see her thriving in the free world. They talk about Kryptonian secrets and that he is not alone on Earth any longer. I kind of felt this stuff was a little boring. Anybody else? Yeah, it was. This scene was like,
Yes.
it was on
Yeah, when
and
they're
on.
like walking outside and stuff.
Yeah, it just was boring. It was just like, I don't care.
I think part of the issue here is that this scene is written that we discuss these things, but neither myself or the actor know what we're talking about.
It just,
we don't know what we're talking about at all. Like we're not.
it made sense. I
we're-
thought I just
We're
was like,
we're not informed. I mean, I remember at the time she's like, I don't know what this is. Like, I don't know what I'm talking about.
It would help if you were talking about something you were more informed about, like Sonic 3 or
Sonic,
Sonic
there
2.
we go.
Let's
again.
talk about Sonic 3.
Over in Metropolis at the DP, Jimmy arrives to work for some macking on Chloe Sullivan. He's giddy about the scoop he has on this mysterious Luthor handoff the night before, and after discussions of the Luthor's hard balls, Jimmy is determined to find more definitive proof. As he heaves, Baern pops up asking Chloe where the archives are. He then uses his freak-like photographic memory to learn everything ever that has happened in Smallville, inclusive of Clark Kent's history.
Over in Luthor Mansion, Lex learns about Grohl leaving Dodge. He gets interrupted by Jimmy Olsen, who unknowingly provides Lex with all the information he was curious about with
By the way,
regards
how
to
did Jimmy
Grohl's
Olsen get
disappearance.
in?
Well, there's no again the
There's
Luthor
no
security team.
right? Okay.
Just the
Well,
LVPs.
I think he called and he used Chloe's name, which they say. So that makes sense that he's like, hey, Chloe says I could call you. I have some thing that I want to talk to you about. He's like, all right, you know what, Jimmy, humor me. Come on in. I buy that. I'll let it go.
Yeah.
Put your
Here,
suspenders
you're
on,
not busy.
Ryan. Ryan, suspenders
I put
on.
my suspenders on.
We have to get Ryan some suspenders.
I have a
we
pair at
have
home. I'll
to.
bring them.
Somebody make Ryan suspenders that say disbelief on them.
Or Merry Christmas.
And he'll
Something.
clip them on. Make sure they're clip-ons. Hold his britches up.
Hold my britches up.
Go ahead.
After another dig at Chloe's dating prospects, Lex escorts Jimmy out. However, Jimmy is able to snag a photo of the confidential paperwork on his desk before getting DJ Jazzy Jeffed from the residence.
That was good. That's a good throwback. Lex leaves his office to confront Lana on the backstabbery from the night before. He plays dumb, withholding information with hope she will be forthcoming, and after she beats around the bush, he pushes the issue, requesting she give him the box.
Ooh.
You know, the funny thing is that we never see any scenes where Lex is actually paying attention to Lana. You ever notice that? That's
Yeah.
why she's playing him.
I
That's
guess
why
we
she's
don't have
playing him.
time in the episodes for him to listen.
I'm just saying. She's always accusing him of things, and he's like,
Okay, he's on the
yeah.
You know, you're not wrong. Over on
There's
the Kent
no
farm.
point where Lex. I'm not saying there's not a point. I'm just saying there's not a point in the story
Yeah,
where Lex goes and
and you don't see them kind of just hanging out and having conversation.
never.
I guess because you just have to
Never.
further the story. Maybe they could have a good conversation. It's like, you know, I don't know. I never really wanted kids, but I kind of want a kid. And then all of a sudden somebody comes in. So we get a little
Yeah.
glimpse of what the relationship is. It wouldn't take much time to do that.
That's why I need the suspenders as well.
I hear you. On over at the Kent farm, Ryan and Clark are enjoying a wholesome super speed jog together. Clark asks questions about what his pa was really like, and Ryan tells him what he wants to hear. She begins to get agitated with Clark after learning that he has not started his world-saving training and that is unaware of Earth's imminent doom. Doom.
After they discuss his destiny, Baern interrupts Clark and Raya. Baern, wait, hold on here. Let's do this one. Baern interrupts Clark and Rhea in his barn.
In his Baern. That Baern is in his Baern.
And in the barn, Baern reveals himself to be a zoner.
And then they go Baern, Baern. So stupid.
I got up.
We're
at
getting
3
today,
o'clock.
guys.
All right.
Sorry.
I just got off a plane. All right. Baern. Fuck me.
Keep going.
I can't read the word bear.
Just say Baern. He's losing it. He's losing it.
I'm gone.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I've been there. I get
After
it.
they discuss his destiny,
Just let it happen. Just let it happen.
Baern interrupts Clark and Rhea and his team. Baern reveals himself to be a zoner and shares his intention of revenge against Jarrell. Baern double hand blasts Clark out of the barn and then gets roundhoused by Rhea in the barn. And inside the Ken, I hope
Why
somebody
isn't
thinks
she
this
more
is funny.
helpful?
Inside the Ken house, after Clark licks his wounds, Riot shares his reality behind all of the Zoner's revenge arch against Jarrell and Kal-El. Turns out Baern feeds off of energy sources, and the only thing that can stop him is a super crystal.
Later that night, inside the DP, Chloe checks in on Jimmy, who is hot on the case. After ignoring 10 of her text messages, Chloe is surprised to hear about Jimmy's run-in at Luthor Mansion. What's more, after analyzing the Kryptonian language on the paperwork from Lex's desk, Jimmy believes that Lex is working with the Egyptians.
You know what? I gotta say, I kind of like that he said that.
Yeah.
It was funny.
Yeah, it's
It
so
was
nice that there was like a lovable dumb guy on the show.
Yeah,
Like,
it
not
was actually
serious.
funny. It was the payoff was funny. That was good writing. It was like Egyptians, like you're.
It's like, obviously the Egyptians still write like this.
And she's like, "Yeah, I think you're right."
It's like, aw.
Clark and Rhea walk into the DP and run into Chloe. She shares Lex's testing on Zod's Brainiac power core, and then put 2 and 2 together and believe Baern will be looking for it. And over at the Luthor Mansion, Lex walks into his office and is greeted by Lana and the Brainiac power core. Lana's still hesitant with its ability to end mankind, but Lex doesn't seem too worried about it. And Lana reassures him that they are still in this together, but on opposite sides, whatever that means, on how to approach it. She tells Frodo he must destroy his new fascination. Is this when she looks away? When she's looking like into the camera almost? When they're sitting down? I like that scene. It's just like, oh my gosh, so uncomfortable.
As Lana goes to leave, Baern barges into the office and tells Lex his security is
Baern.
unavailable. Despite his best efforts to prevent fucking hell. Despite his best efforts to prevent Baern from getting near the power cord.
So it's such a sugar.
I'm going to say it.
I love
Despite
it.
his best efforts to prevent Baern from getting near the power core, Lex gets ragdolled through a glass table, and after absorbing its powers, Baern supersedes away from the Brainiac core, dissolving it into ash. Lana goes back to check on her BF and Kent Medical, and Lex
She
is
goes Baern
skeptical.
back?
I'm barely hanging on here.
You're barely hanging on. Lana
He's
goes to check on her
barely.
boyfriend in Kent Medical, and Lex is skeptical that she had something to do with him being jumped and robbed. Surprisingly, Clark also shows up and learns about Lex's uninvited guest. Clark tells Lana that he's aware of the Brainiac core, and Lana tells him it's long gone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's just this episode. I think that's why we're so giddy, and it was just kind of silly, and there were some cool moments, but.
What's the takeaway?
Yeah, I
from
guess
this
that's what it
episode?
is. It's forgettable. It's kind of forgettable,
Yeah.
but
Good answer to my question, by the way.
yeah.
What's the takeaway?
What's
It's
the takeaway?
forgettable.
Raya takes Clark to the abandoned Fortress of Solitude because it's their only hope to stop.
You could say
I mean,
Only hope to stop Baern. Raya pokes Clark for ruining his last remnants of Krypton and being lazy and not figuring out how to recover the fortress. Raya plans on luring Baern to help use his power to restore the fortress.
he can't do it. He cannot save
By the way,
Baern.
Bryce highlighted it in the document.
By the way, where's the fortress been for like the last half season?
That's true. And by the way, they could have come up with a better name than Baern.
Ryan needs a
Maybe
Red
we're
Bull.
not pronouncing it right. I don't remember.
Is it Baern?
Aaron.
Baron.
It's
This is Ryan's kryptonite.
I don't remember. I watched the episode last night. I don't remember the pronunciation. So everybody out there is listening going,
I think that's why.
That's not how you pronounce his name. So it's the ongoing, unrunning joke. We're going to continue going.
It was the whatever
It's
accent you put
Baern.
on the beginning. I adopted it, and I just can't.
Yeah,
stop.
I stay with Baern.
I can't unhear it.
The Red Baron. Back at the Kents, Martha comes home from a long day's work to Baron, standing in wait of her in the shadows. Why do we have his name everywhere? Before he can double hand blast Martha, however, Baron receives the signal and speeds off to the fortress. This is your writing. This is why we're all laughing. Baron shows up and then starts size shaming Jarrell.
Oh.
Clark tries to block a double hand blast with a single hand blast, but it's not enough. No. Baron then drops the B word. Is it Baron? And continues to double hand blast Raya through the freaking chest. She gets it again. This is unfair. Avenging her death for a second time this season, Clark picks up his father's Kryptonian crystal, walks down Baron, trapping him within, just like Zod. With her last breath, Raya pleads for Clark to restore the fortress. And instead of doing so immediately, however, Clark decides to take Baron to Kent Medical so he can recover before heading back to Oaktown. After the reality sets in that he spent 6 weeks in Kansas, Clark neglects to tell Baron that he is likely also wanted for murder of his friend.
Wow.
The next day,
Now,
in
every
the
time you
DP,
say it, I have to laugh.
Jimmy tells Chloe that Lex made a call to get him fired. I thought that was a lot. Like, what is Lex doing? He's hiding something. But he was also helping Lex. He inadvertently just helped Lex. Like, he was like, he should be like, Jimmy, thank you for this. You just helped me.
Is that your, a lot of time actors will be like, what's your pre-beat going into the scene?
Yeah, what's the motivation?
Did you just find it right now?
No, I thought about it when I was watching it. Luckily, he was able to beg for a position to stay in the basement. Later at Luthor Mansion, Lex tries to reassess his relationship with Lana after she lied to him. She says that it's like the kettle calling the pot black. She tells Lex he's not the hero he thinks the world needs.
Guys,
That was good.
this is what I've been talking about.
That was good.
Bryce is on. He knows. Lana is manipulating Lex. He's
The
in on
episode ends with Clark talking about Raya with his mother and coming to the conclusion that he is ready to accept his destiny and training, but not yet. Not till the Zoners are goners.
Till the Zoners are gooners.
Zoners are gunners. Closing thoughts. Thoughts on the Lana arc this season. Very different from the ones in the past seasons, angsty and cold. I like it. It's different and it's empowering for her probably as an actress. This might be one of the most pop culture relevant guest stars, non-band related, to be on Smallville at the time. What was it like? He took a lot of screen time, it felt like.
I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Completely professional, ready to go, open to everything, completely directable.
Oh,
I
I like that.
Like, totally.
He was a nice guy when I worked with him.
No,
Briefly.
I remember it. I mean, an artist.
Yeah.
Do you remember
Like-
if he was like a fan of the show and that's why he wanted to do it or something? Or why?
I don't know. You should look that up. Bryce.
I don't know the answer to that question, but I just remember him being like open to like, yep, okay, what do you need me to do? I'll do it. Totally cool.
That's cool.
Like, no pretense, nothing. Like, he was great.
We should clarify. He's not related to Snoop Dogg.
He's not.
He was just discovered.
No,
Yeah.
Interesting things to note.
it's his uncle.
The scene of rain in Metropolis after the main credits and before you see
Thank
the
you,
limo is a
Ryan.
recycled shot from Batman Begins 2005. They used that shot of the rain in Metropolis. And the actor who plays
really?
Yance, Brandon J. McLaren, was also the courier in Covenant. Julian Christopher, Dr. McIntyre, previously appeared in a Stargate CG1 episode of the same name. I don't care. But that's pretty cool, though. Talkville is brought to you by Prize Picks. I talk about Prize Picks all the time, Tom, because I have such a blast doing this. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports more accessible. And let me tell you, you don't have to know a lot about sports to play this. You just choose more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. It is that easy. For instance, basketball, you're like, oh, is he going to get less than 20 points? Is he going to get more than 20 points? Is this guy going to get more than a point in hockey? Less, more than 2 players, boom, you're done. crazy fast withdrawals. And you know what it is? I like doing it when I have nothing to do and I'm going to watch a game that I never would have watched because I have players riding on it. So my $20 could turn into $40 or $100.
I saw you playing last weekend when I saw you.
Yeah. You're like, what are you doing? I'm like, prize picks. I like to get my picks on. I like to do two things, pick my nose and play prize picks. That's what I like to do.
Prize Picks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You could double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit.
Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, like I said, safe and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. Prize Picks now accepts major credit cards, quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. Sign up today and get $50 in bonus promo funds instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus credit. It's guaranteed. And Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineups.
Cook up hot takes with your friends and win real money this basketball season when you and your crew run your game on Prize Picks.
Download the app today and use code TALKVille to get $50 in bonus promo funds instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code TALKVille to get $50 in bonus promo funds instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details. Glenn, do you remember when I used to sing From Glen to Glen?
No, actually, I remember you doing a lot of really weird things, but that one I don't remember.
I remember Michael always making you laugh. And when I would try to be funny, you would just look at me and be like,
No.
You're so obvious. Like my humor is very obvious, where Michael's is very
humor.
creative. Yeah, thanks for that.
I can't comment on that. I thought you were just as funny as Michael, sir.
Do you remember Club Like?
Thanks.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Do you remember when I walk on set and I go, how's everybody doing today? And everybody would say, fair to horse shit.
Yes, I do remember that.
Glenn, great to have you back.
Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, first of all, I want to get this out of the way, but it's important because we loved him. We know you had a really good, fond relationship with Jeannot, who directed a lot of Smallville episodes, a lot of big movies. He was a wonderful man, a wonderful director, and just briefly tell us about your experience with working with him and the friendship you built.
For sure. Jeannot came in early-ish. I can't remember. It was second or third season. It was Perry, right? So you guys probably did that a while back. But I was a little intimidated by him because I grew up in the 70s and early 80s. And so he made a lot of kind of goofy, fun movies in the 80s, like Santa Claus the Movie. Well, starting with Jaws 2, but Santa Claus the Movie with Dudley Moore and Supergirl, let's not say it's goofy, but, it was during that very high concept, kind of, it wasn't quite like full on Hollywood blockbuster. It was like a tier below, but with lots of heart and lots of sort of scope. And so he did a lot of movies like that. And I had seen all that, and Somewhere in Time, obviously.
I love that movie.
It was his most personal film that he kind of really shepherded and took a lot of like pay cuts and a lot of things to make it happen.
With Christopher
and
Reeve.
So,
yeah.
Because I was kind of a film geek and went and saw everything. I knew of his work, and I'd seen a lot of, even though it was before the internet, I'd seen a lot of behind the scenes pictures of him, and he kind of looked like an intense, serious guy in his photos. And so when Beeman said he was coming to the show, first of all, I was like, holy shit, we'd never had kind of a feature guy of that caliber working on the show. And I had this sort of impression of him as kind of, I know tour, but kind of, I don't know. He just looked very kind of serious and a little gruff, which is of course the complete opposite of him. And so I walk in that meeting room at our offices, the big production office meeting room, and he stands up and I'm quite intimidated. He comes to me and he comes to me as opposed to the opposite, and runs up and shakes my hand and says, I've been looking at everything. It looks really incredible. I'm a big fan of your work. And I was immediately disarmed and charmed. And
when he stood up, he didn't get any taller.
He kind of came out. Yeah, came at me like level. And he was a little man, but with a huge heart. And he immediately like, set the table that we were going to be partners in this. And Perry was kind of one of the strongest scripts during that era as well. And so it was just kind of a dream. And we were friends since then. He, during that time, we would have often a lot of the directors come for dinner. My wife at the time, Julie, would make this beautiful meal, and we would make them feel as at home as they could because they were usually from out of town. And that we collaborated on most of his episodes, not all of them, over the next 6 seasons. And we became just very close friends. We would travel together. We went to Paris many times to visit him. We got to be friends with his family and his sons. Mersey and Steve and Jeannot and I would often like go up to Whistler together, or he would come to my cabin on Keats Island. I've got some just amazing, and Mersey and I were especially in love with him right from the start.
How was he when he was a little buzzed?
Well, his lazy eye would get lazier.
Yes.
First of all, he would spit even more than he already would spit when he was just like directing and chatting.
We were talking about him a little bit earlier, and he was so beautifully disarming.
Yes,
in the best way.
Perfectly.
And he put everyone at ease and allowed everyone to be so creative. And I told these guys earlier we were recording, and I remember one time we were on set, and he came in and gave me some direction, and he goes, Tom, and I'm like, yeah. He goes, pick one. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, pick one. You know what I'm talking about.
His eye.
And I just remember just being like he was just so, he was so wonderful. I'm ashamed I didn't spend more time with him.
I remember the first few episodes that he directed. I just was like, this guy must be directing TV his whole life, and he's just so much fun and easy, and his episodes are good. And I just was like, I just went with the flow of things. And it wasn't until like the 4th episode he directed, I just happened to look him up, and I go, he directed Somewhere in Time with Christopher Reeve. He directed Jaws 2. He did. And I came up to him and I go, Jeannot! And he goes, you didn't know this?
Yeah. What?
What have you done?
I don't know if I still have it, but he was the one who started something for me where I do this now. I just had a meeting yesterday with on a film that they're considering me for, and I was talking to the director, and I do something that Jeannot taught me, and he said, ask me the 5 films I would like you to watch, and he gave that to me, and I said that to a director yesterday on a Zoom. Amazing. I said, is there 5 movies that, and the guy looked at me like kind of crazy, but I was like, no, I mean, just like, it's a thing.
Yeah.
He's just so beautiful. He was so beautiful.
He did. I mean, that's a great point too, because he grew up on the set too. Like he was a PA on like Cary Grant movies, and he would always reference like he would say like, now we're going to do a Bertolucci, and
yeah.
On Smallville, we were doing a Bertolucci, and he had this bag of DVDs that he would carry around with him when he came up to Vancouver, and he would watch them on his laptop in his condo that he owned up here for a time in the apartment. And then we would store this little bag of DVDs for him, so he didn't have to go back and forth with it to LA. Huh. And it was filled with like a complete mix of.
Do you still have them?
I do. They're actually, they're still. I'm gonna go liberate them. And he just brought that, and then he would always talk about, there's a movie called Charade with, I think it's Cary Grant. And you guys should check it out. At the beginning, there's a scene with Audrey Hepburn. I think Audrey Hepburn's in it. And there's a scene where she's lying out on a sun clod in the Alps, and the camera pulls back and there's a hand holding a gun. And you think it's a misdirect. You think she's going to get shot. It ends up being a kid with a squirt gun. Those are Jeannot's hands because they had to get the kid off the clock. So there's a beautiful little moment where you can see Jeannot's
hands.
Awesome. Look at it. So we should check that out and then he would tell stories of being like at the commissary at like Warner Brothers or Universal, and he would see all these stars, and he really did like come by it very honestly.
He was beautiful. Well, listen, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Your episode, we we actually really enjoyed, and there was a lot to it. And the scope, we liked, the scope. It was big. It was like a big episode. What episode was that?
What was it like working with Bow Wow?
Was that, first of all, was that your first episode?
Okay. Well, first of all, thanks for calling me out again on my second episode.
Episode.
As opposed to my first one, which would have been amazing. But
Yeah.
okay.
But you
guys got
probably
a lot
had
of
more confidence during this one.
I did. Yeah, but my big takeaways from that are it was the second episode I ever did. I didn't shoot the first one. I had a very good friend of mine, Greg Middleton, who now shoots like Game of Thrones and stuff, shoot the first one. And I was like, I think I want to try DPing and directing together, kind of like Soderbergh does. And there's some hubris and some, little bit of like, I think I can do it vibes. And so I tried it on that show, on that episode. So that was kind of a big deal. And it actually went quite well. And I was quite nervous. Again, I think same idea with Bow Wow. Like I was kind of a little intimidated because he was this kind of like hip rapper at the time. And I certainly wasn't. And I didn't know if he could act. And he was great. So I remember those are the two biggest things. I was intimidated to work with him. And also I was intimidated, but excited to try and DP and direct at the same time. I'm going to say a quick side note to the DP directing. My next episode, which you'll come to soon, was one called Crimson. And that one, I still had this whole like, I can do this. I got it. DP directing, no probs. And it was way more complicated tonally because it was like one of our first outright comedic episodes.
And you're not funny, so that had to be tough.
It's not funny, and I don't know how to direct funny, and it's hard to direct funny. And
the actors aren't funny.
The actors are funny. I can't make them funny if they're not funny. And it was a nightmare for me. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this: DP, like I can't imagine directing. Like directing alone is hard. I shot a feature where I was the lead and the director, and that was
similar.
It was so hard, but like you're looking at the lighting, you're looking at it's like, I remember there was a point in your career where you're like, I'm either DPing or I'm directing. I'm not doing both anymore.
Yeah, well, after Crimson, after Crimson, I got DPing the show, but when I directed, I had a DP.
Do you get paid for both? Do you get paid as a DP and a director?
Yeah, I was good. That was good.
That's good.
But I think I'm going out on a limb here, but the other thing because Michael, you and I have both directed and acted in Smallville, and
it's similar in vibes.
What really goes away is that in between time to take a moment to focus, because the second you're done doing one thing, you're on to the next one.
Yeah,
and I've never even because I've worked with people like you, Glenn, I've never had to think about what it's going to look like. I mean,
right.
my brain doesn't even go there.
Right.
So that there's no downtime at all is what I'm trying to say.
That, Tom, because that was, as soon as you said it, I felt all those feelings. That was the hardest part. You feel like you're in a vice. You literally do not have time to breathe. And for some reason on Fallout, it somehow worked out better. And on Crimson, I remember just being like, blank faced, like just because I was so overwhelmed. And so there was just something about that episode.
Is there something you do?
Horrible feeling. It's terrifying.
Is there something you do to kind of get yourself straight again when your nerves are rattled, all these things? Is there anything you do?
Probably now, but it sounds like on Crimson, he didn't have that.
I do that now when I'm directing and I'm overwhelmed because I get overwhelmed all the time. Because even if I'm not DPing, I get completely overwhelmed because of schedule or things. And I meditate. So if I'm really behind at lunch now and I'm like, how the hell am I going to salvage this day? I do transcendental meditation. So that's a tool
really
that
helps.
I use in my whole life. But back then, I'm going to say no because I didn't know what the fuck I had to do. I didn't know how to I think the one thing I'd say is just look at, and I'd give this advice to anyone just who's just directing or overwhelmed or acting is just to look at one thing at a time and work moment by moment and not, let all the other stuff.
Yeah. You know who does that? You know who does transcendental
down.
meditation? Who's been doing it since the beginning of his career? Martin Scorsese. He says that's what gets him through. I meditate, he goes, I go in my trailer and I meditate. That's how I get through the days. I get my mind.
Jerry, there's a famous stories about Jerry Seinfeld doing that when he was doing the show too, because he was writing and
Yeah, he does.
being a big
Yeah,
part
he's
of it.
one of the big proponents of, as was David Lynch
Yeah.
as well.
He also
actually.
said, I just saw him and he just was like, there's some interview and he goes, there's no such thing as writer's block. It's called laziness. You're right. If you're mediocre, you have to work harder. He does this whole thing. There's no such thing. You're lazy.
Well, he may have stolen that from Stallone because
You're lazy.
Stallone, I've seen clips of him talking about writing. He likes, when you start writing, just start writing. It's not going to be great. You know what I mean? Like just get it out and then go back to it and then go back to it.
Oh, there's something
I
to
don't know.
that too, as an analogy to what we were just talking about, where same thing when you're directing, like if someone asks for an answer to something, whether it's in prep or an actor, like just say something as opposed to, I don't know, or like, because you can always go back and revise it and say like, you know what, I've been thinking about this a little bit. And a lot of the directing is a bit of a show in the sense that people just want a leader and they want to know that someone has a plan. And so even if an actor who sometimes just wants comfort and they're feeling insecure about something, if you give them that feeling of, you know, someone's looking out for you, then you can always take a moment and circle back.
Yeah. Or even like, give me 5 minutes or something. And I remember I think it was Aquaman that we did. And I think I directed it and I think you DP'd it. And we were out next to Stanley Park and, you know, he comes out of the water. And I remember Alan asking me how I was doing it. And I remember saying to him, I have a lot of smart people around me and I rely on them.
Honestly, that's the truth. And surround yourself.
That's you, Glenn, obviously, because it's like, that's something I think maybe you can speak to this or not. I mean, I'm just kind of spitballing here, but like rely on the smart people around you.
Absolutely.
Like, we had some great props people. We had some great people who would be like, what do you think? And they would, you know, excel.
I remember when I was directing my episode Freak, and I was like, in the first few days, it was like I was like a natural and everything was easy. And you even said, you're really good at this. I told you. And your wife even was like, Glenn was talking that you got this. And then we hit a day where I didn't know what the F to do. And I looked at Glenn and I go, why don't you direct the scene? Because it was like a showdown, like a Mexican standoff or whatever they call it, and 3 people and all these light flashes and a gun and this and that, and I in my mind couldn't wrap around. I couldn't figure it out, and I needed help. So you ask the person who, so this is the best way to shoot it. You have those people, so hire people that make everything better, that are smarter, that just can do their job, that can help you out when you get to, if you're hiring people that aren't, you're effed.
No, so there's the old adage, I might have even said it last time because it relates to so many things. That is, the only person that could, you know, clock in sick for the day and not show up and the episode would still get made is the director. And that is actually the truth. Like there's so many levels of I wouldn't say redundancy, but that concept of that there's someone who's protecting their corner, the actors. If, you know, it's helpful to have direction and you know, some would say imperative, but if you know your character and you know what, you know, you can direct yourself. It's not ideal to direct yourself, but you can. Same thing, the first AD is going to make sure that the episode, you know, is shootable, and the DP as well. They'll work together. And the camera operator is going to figure out all the eye lines and camera moves. And how about we push in on this line and like the prop. So it is kind of true. And sometimes that leads to people who have no business directing sometimes end up with a great episode. I've
seen that.
Have you worked with, you don't have to say any names, have you worked with someone who was just impossible, that you just didn't enjoy, that was giving you a hard time and making your life more difficult?
Yeah, but it was pretty rare, honestly. There was one person on Smallville who only came out for 2 episodes. That wasn't your.
Oh.
Well, there was one time in this. I do remember one time in a graveyard where Michael and I had the giggles, and Mersey was directing, and you were DPing.
Oh, we talked.
And you came up to us, and you were like,
"Yes,
we got to get our shit.
Guys, you got to get your shit together." But go ahead, Glenn.
And we just couldn't.
That is people having fun, and you're just kind of like herding kittens sometimes.
Right,
like
but
that.
go ahead.
Was a difference with the director who actually has like an attitude of some kind and who's not being collaborative. And like, there was one person who did, I'm just going to say 2 episodes in the early years. that I didn't. And it was so striking because I was like, wow, this is really weird. Not like having a director that doesn't trust me or that I'm not connecting with and that I'm seemingly not help with. And I actually then worked with them later, hoping there would have been a change, and it was just as bad on a different show. And I was like, wow, this clearly just was not meant to be. But it was I will say that it's very rare. And then the same would be conversely with DPs as director. Most of the DPs I've worked with now that I'm directing have been incredibly collaborative and fun and smart. And
I love it.
And then when there is one that is just not connecting, again, you just notice it. You're like, oh, wow, this is what it's like when it doesn't.
If you don't like working with Glenn Winter, honestly, from my experience in all the years, you've got a problem. But listen, the gardeners are here. There's things going crazy. All right, we love you, Glenn. You're the best. Talkville is brought to you by Quince. I got to tell you, Tom, I got this $50 cashmere sweater, and it is amazing. Where can you get a cashmere sweater for $50? It's unbelievable. Elevating my style used to mean breaking the bank, but with Quince, I get high-end, versatile pieces at prices I can actually afford. Now I can upgrade my style by snagging killer luxury essentials that sync with my vibe and my wallet.
Quince has all the must-haves like Mongolian cashmere crew neck sweaters from $50, iconic 100% leather jackets, and versatile flow knit activewear.
The best part, all Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. By partnering directly with top factories, Quince cuts out the cost of the middleman and passes the savings on to us. Indulge in affordable luxury. Go to quince.com/talkville for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/talkville to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/talkville. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. You know, we always talk about therapy and how much it helps everyone. I know Ryan uses BetterHelp. So many of my friends
We
use
were just
BetterHelp.
talking about it with Glenn Winter.
Yeah. I mean, mental
In a
health
sense.
is so freaking important. If you haven't tried it and you're nervous about it, this is why BetterHelp is great. It's entirely online. And if you're teamed up with a therapist, and if you don't like your therapist, it's not awkward. You just get a new therapist. So it's not like you're walking in going, I have to quit. It's pretty easy. Look, what are some of your relationship green flags? Listen to this. Maybe it's when your partner thoughtfully listens or anticipates your needs. We often hear about red flags we should avoid, but what if we focused more on looking for green flags in friends and partners? If you're not sure what they look like, therapy can help you identify green flags, actively practice them in your relationships, and embody the green flag energy yourself. Whether you're dating, married, building a friendship, or just working on yourself, it's time to form relationships that love you back. Therapy with BetterHelp can teach you positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable and convenient, serving over 5 million people worldwide. Access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists with a wide range of specialties. Easily switch therapists anytime at no extra cost. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/talkville to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/talkville. Leah, how the heck are you?
Okay.
What's up, Leah?
Hi.
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 Good. How are y'all doing?
I'm good. Leah, we're in season 6 and we're in this episode. And
What do you like about Smallville?
Yeah, what do you love about Smallville that made you keep it? We always ask that, but what made you want to keep watching?
Oh, it's the characters. I will stick through the dumbest storyline for good characters. Yeah, and that's actually one of the reasons why I like this particular episode, because it has an important character development plot point for Clark.
Oh,
And
please tell us, because we didn't see it.
Please tell us.
what that
you
was.
didn't see it?
No, please. I'm being honest. Please tell us. 'Cause
I bet it has something to do with the Raya scene with you in the barn.
No, it doesn't actually.
Damn it. What is it?
No, so there's actually a couple of things. So one of the things I thought was really interesting, maybe this was with Raya. So you know how most people have that moment in their lives when they realize that their parents are like actual people, like they're adults?
Yes.
So he has that reverse experience. He all of a sudden sees his dad in like as like a dad and not a normal person.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Wow.
it's like a growth for him to be able to see that. And then, sorry, I just like my adrenaline is going. Anyway.
I love this. No, this is really
No,
smart.
keep going.
Leah.
No, this is why we do
Yeah.
this. This is great. You're
Oh,
perfect.
good. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, so it really clicks something in him because he sees his dad or his biological father as a dad for the first time. And then the experience with Raya, he sees himself as like a true, like who he actually is, who he was born as, right? So he sort of sees that and then accepts that. And that's why he's able to then accept his, his destiny with a capital D at the end, right? So it's like it's a really important step forward because he's going from like Clark and he's like really not wanting to be more than that to like, okay, fine, I'll be more than that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I didn't get that, but I'm glad we talked to you because what I'm hearing from you now, I see this is the trajectory to Superman.
Yes, exactly.
Accepting his destiny.
And to go back to your question, one of the reasons why I love this show in particular is because they won't lose that, right? So, like, for example, when Clark spent 3 months in Metropolis as Kal-El on Red K,
Yeah.
you'll notice that when he came back, the way he deals with bad guys is totally different because he learned how to deal with them, and the way he talks to them is forceful and confident and like no patience, right? He's just really hard with them. And they don't lose that. The script writers, the directors, Tom, you never lost that either.
I'm going to take a stab in the dark. You're a writer, aren't you?
Well, not officially, but I love to write. Yeah. Informally. Yeah. But that's
great.
one of the things. It's the characters and the script. And it's a really good show.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Who did you watch with when you started watching it?
So I actually didn't see it until the pandemic. Right.
Wow.
So yeah, I started late. I was a Star Trek baby. So in my house, that's what I was raised on. Right. It was like the Prime Directive was like on par with the Bible, basically, in my house when I was growing up. So I didn't really get into superheroes until like the MCU came out. And then that's when I was like, yeah, these guys are really cool too. And I put off watching Smallville because of what you said, Michael, that it has that, like the look when you see the ad or whatever, that like, beautiful people and bullshit situations kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right. So I sort of had it in my to watch list for a really long time and I avoided it for that reason. And then the pandemic hit and I was like, okay, I guess now's a good time.
I got nothing else to do.
Right. But it's like an objectively good show. It's not just good for fans. It's objectively good. Right.
That's nice.
So, the writing, the directing, the acting, everything is the set design. It's actually a good, there's a couple episodes here and there that you could probably skip, right?
Thirst.
But it's not just for fans. It's a well-made show. And the characters, Lex is the hook. Okay. So the complexity of Lex, that's what hooks you into the show. And then you start watching Clark develop and then you're like, okay, then you start rooting for both of them. Right. And it just really, it hooks you in.
Well, how the hell about that?
You are awesome, by the way. I just want to say you're awesome.
I appreciate it.
You got to bring her back,
You
Bryce.
are into it.
Oh, thank you.
We really needed this because we just spent the last 20 minutes laughing at the name Baern.
Is it Baern?
It's Baern, but he says it wrong. The guy who plays the character, he says Baron, but if you turn on your captions, it's spelled Baern.
Baern.
So it's Baern. Yeah.
Baern.
Which is weird because
even
that's like
Bow Wow
a Nordic name, I think.
Don't get Ryan start.
He giggles.
Let's hear it, Ryan.
Dude, he could not stop laughing the whole episode.
Ask Ryan to say Baron right now. He can't.
Say Baron, Ryan, please. I'm dying.
Say it.
Baron. Sounds like he just squeezed a fart.
Baron.
You gotta say, is it, maybe it's supposed to be Baron? I don't know.
Well, part of the problem was that in Bryce's little synopsis script, he wrote that Baern was in the barn, and you could read it as Baron was in the Baern.
Baron was in the Baron.
Baron was in the Baron.
I have not been able to recover.
Yeah.
Well, listen, you're awesome. Let me just say this. How many times have you seen the series?
So I don't know if this is embarrassing or not, but I think I've seen it 3 or 4 times already.
My Lord.
Because I've done a couple of rewatches, and then I'm doing the rewatch where I'm like taking notes,
I like it. I like it.
Well, our once we get done with this podcast, we're going to do a podcast about this podcast. So,
oh, really? I'm down.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
And it's going to be called Baern.
You know what I think would be cool, Tom, since you like most everything, we should do like a movie review. Because I would be like, oh my God, the movie The Substance. How did anybody watch this? And then you'll be like, I liked it. I really thought that.
But isn't that what we're doing right now?
Yeah, but with our show, we should shit on every show.
Oh, we love it when you guys nerd out, especially you, Tom. You got a lot of really cool stuff to say. You all have good stuff to say.
We love you, Leah. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
You're awesome.
Thank you so much.
You're amazing.
You guys are too. All you.
All right, here we go. Hotline. It's the hotline. And we're going to start with patron privilege. And why not? Why not go to Tom T? Tom?
Hey, it's Tom Turner with a question for the season 6 episode Fallout. Now, in this episode, Tom, you go up against Bow Wow in his double hand blast. I was just wondering, what was that like behind the scenes? Just you and him going at it in the fortress. Thanks.
Is there a joke in there?
Yeah, you went at it. What was it like?
Who doesn't
though,
like a
working with
double?
him?
Who doesn't like a double hand blast?
Did you enjoy working with him?
Yes.
That's all he has to say. I remember.
I feel like there's a joke in that somewhere. I think I can't even think of someone I ever worked with I didn't like working with. Like you find a way. You know what I mean? Like everybody's there to like.
I can name one.
Well,
all right.
Here you go.
Other brother Daryl. No, we love working with Bow Wow. He was great. He's really great. Like Tom said, a real professional.
Hey guys, other brother Daryl here from Georgia. Was curious your guys' thoughts on the whole Phantom Zone and Zoner story arc so far. Thanks, guys.
You know, the Phantom Zone doesn't bother me as much as I wish it would have. It does bother me because it's just like, those effects and there's this, like, we have to deal with that whole creature thing and then it coming out. And I get it. It's Superman mythology, but I never like all that stuff. It just kind of goes off the deep end sometimes for me.
I loved it because we went to places to film those things that were so exotic and it was so different and it was so much fun. And if you think about it, Lex Luthor doesn't even know about the Phantom Zone.
Yeah.
Which is another, like I love going out and doing crazy stuff, filming. I loved it. Like we talked about it a couple years.
The Phantom Zone scene in the start of the episode or the last season at the end was freaking dope. I was blown away by that. I thought it was amazing. So if they went back to some of that, but having these, don't say anything, but I don't know if other people are going to come out of the Phantom Zone now. Is it going to continually happen? Does it, Bryce? Oh, great.
Yeah, that's why Dave Bautista makes an appearance in a couple episodes.
Oh,
and he picked me up.
You're lucky
he
I
picked
love
me
Dave.
up.
I just text Dave about working out, but I didn't work out. Here's Scott.
What did he say? Because I'd like to know.
No, I just asked him like what I should be consistent on and what's better for my neck if I wanted neck exercises. And did it go off? That's okay. That's all right. Here's Scott.
Hey guys, Scott from Baern remain with us. They could give a suggestion, I guess, for season 6, episode 6 Fallout. They could have a new show called Smallville Medical or Smallville Hospital, since so much of the series takes place there. Just a thought. Thanks, guys.
I love your thought, Scott. It's true. It's amazing how many people end up in Smallville Medical. It's just like the whole high school goes to Smallville Medical. It should be the school. They should have a school and hospital in one. It's like, hey, I'm going to third period, but I got a headache. It was a tumor, so I'm actually getting surgery, and then I have history at 4, and then
I have a tree growing out of my sternum. I'm sorry, I have to skip bio.
Yeah, and then I have lunch, but I'm not really hungry, so I'm gonna go. Yeah, shut up.
CSI Smallville Medical Concussion Protocol.
I can't even say that.
Lana again.
Here's Ed.
Hey, this is Ed from Ohio. Calling in with a question or comment about Season 6, Episode 6, Fallout. The scientist that brought everything to Lana in the limousine, did anyone teach this man how to wear glasses? Seriously, did they hire an actor that didn't wear glasses? Was no one on set to say, no, that's not how you wear glasses? Seriously, it really bothers me.
Dude, Ed
Anybody
is
else?
pissed, and I love it. Yes, he was just doing this. He's like, well, with his glasses, it was like, dude, it was annoying me. I get it, Ed. Let's go to king size Matt.
Did he ask
Was
his
that
roommate?
was that an actor choice? Perhaps.
It was fine, but it was just like it did bother me a little bit.
It feels like something your roommate tells you to do while you're working on the audition. They're like,
Yeah.
do that, do
Keep
that.
fidgeting with your glasses. They'll love
be
that.
interesting. Be interesting.
Yeah, and then be annoying. But he's a good actor.
Hey,
Be
it's your boy,
annoying.
King Size Matt from Northeast Ohio. We finally get Raya back in the picture on Earth.
King
Things are
size
looking
Matt.
good between her and Clark. And then the final battle with the baddie is like, is as boring as watching Harry Potter. Like, it could have been cool like Star Wars. And it said, no, Clark just stands there. Like, what's up with Raya not running away? I mean, she's got super speed, for God's sakes. Like, and why are you going to kill her off? Imagine the super babies. What the
Dude,
hell?
I love
Love you
king
guys.
size Matt and Ed. They are laying it down today. Let
I
me tell
agree.
you, king size Matt, I agree. There should have been something else. She should have been stronger. It shouldn't have gone like that. She should have died a different way. It was just too on the nose. She stabbed and then this. But, they got to move on the show. It's not about Raya. It's about other things, I guess. Now let's go to Matt. Let's see what Matt has to say. Matt? I bet he's pissed.
Hey, this is Matt calling in from Washington. Now, I just wanted to make a quick comment. I feel like we need to start counting the number of times that Lex has gotten his desk replaced. In this episode, his desk is destroyed yet again, and I just wonder if there's some dude out in Smallville that Lex is constantly spamming with emails, who I'm sure the guy must be really confused as to why Lex constantly needs to replace his desk. Anyways, just wanted to point that out. Wasn't sure if you guys noticed.
Hey,
Thanks,
this is
guys.
Lex Luthor. Hey, is John there? The glass guy. Yeah. Hey, John. Lost another table. You're not going to believe it. Could you get me another one? Yeah, one that looks exactly like that. Oh, you have one. Okay, cool. Let's go to Scott.
Send it
Scott.
over. Talk to my security.
Hey guys, Scott from Mississippi. I just finished watching season 6,
Here it
episode 6,
comes.
Fallout. But this question is really more just about the season. With the Freak of the Week kind of being back with the Zoner guys, does it feel different than season 1 and season 2 to you? It doesn't seem like they are Freak of the Weeks, but it doesn't seem that way. I don't know if it's because it's like a long-term kind of story where they all came and he's got to, it's all connected. It's not just
that's where they
accident
came
from
from.
meteor up. I'm just curious what you think about this being season 6 and we're back to the Freak of the Weeks. Is it better now?
I don't think.
Or are you
I think
still
it's a little
annoyed?
different. It's definitely better in some aspect because I think that it's not just a Freak of the Week with kryptonite, but if you're getting these people from the Phantom Zone and it has meaning and why and reason. So here's Ron.
Yeah, I think what Tom said too about different locations is cooler. It's not just like this studio we've never seen before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's true.
I also think, and to answer the question, I also think that because we know more about our characters, it doesn't seem so freakily weaky. Because we're focused more on the Lex thing, the Clark thing.
That's true. It's not all about
they're
that.
They're more entwined.
Yeah, it's not all about that Freak of the Week as it is like the characters now because they've developed more. Ron says, do you think Clark should actually listen to Kryptonian for once, listening to what Raya says rather than going off on his own mission?
Probably.
Really?
All right, Rosenbaum rating. I'm going to start out with Bryce. Bryce, I have a feeling you're going to go a half a bomb on this.
No. I mean, we had so much fun talking about it. It's hard to.
That's true.
I give it a heater.
We had a great guest today. Great guest.
Bryce gives a heater. Ryan?
I'm going to give half because I haven't laughed like this in a long time.
Half a rose for Ryan. That I've never heard you get so giddy and goofy.
I mean, what the heck?
He could not control himself.
No. You got
Tom.
you got the giggles. I got to give it a 1 for effort. I mean, A lot went into it.
I'm going to go half. I just thought it was kind of like not. It was okay, and there's moments where it gave it a little bit something extra when it was.
But
Dang,
what
that
about
might be a
Baern?
record, Michael? That's 6 straight episodes with no heater or bomb.
Is that true?
Yeah.
I didn't love this episode, but I didn't hate it either. I just didn't. It was. I don't know. Okay.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It's okay to enjoy it's okay to have a good time.
Michael, it's okay to enjoy things in life. Death and save count, 2 dead. Jans gets killed in the open, and Raya gets double hand blasted. You love that, Bryce. You love hand blasting every sentence. Every sentence has a hand blast. 1 saved. Raya saves Martha by signaling. Through 6 episodes, 13 dead, 13 saved, 190 dead in the series, 203 saved. Ryan's favorite scene. We can't guess. We get this. Ryan, did you do it in the plane?
I mean,
hold on, where did it go?
Is it Baern?
All right. Scene 1, the cold open where I was like, holy shit, that's Bow Wow playing basketball. That's scene 1.
Okay.
Well, I mean, he said, holy shit.
I mean, that was just for me going, that's Bow Wow.
All right, you can go with that.
Well, that's informative.
Scene 2, Baern fighting to the Baern. That's scene 2. And scene 3, Clark figures out his purpose at the end.
Clark figures out his purpose. 3. Tom?
I got to go 2 because it's Baern.
Ryan?
I have to.
No, it was 3.
Yeah!
Because I did think about this beforehand.
Know. Listen, I know it was 3, but I had to say 2 because I wanted to see him giggle again.
Oh, good. Were you really going to pick 3? Swear to God.
Yeah, I was.
Swear to God.
Swear to God.
All right.
He did it for the joke.
Give him that. He did it for the joke. All right, we'll give it to you.
I got 3.
That's it for the episode. Stick around next week as we go against the machine and talk about season 6, episode 7, Rage. That's got to be good with a title named Rage. Let us know your thoughts on the episode over on our socials at Talkville Podcast, at Talkville Pod. Show the support by joining Patreon, patreon.com/Talkville. And everything's in my link on Instagram at the Michael Rosenbaum. Go to the link tree and all the dates for cons and Smallville cruise and all that stuff. Chicago Smallville con and all my cool items and things that you can get. And Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. If you want more info on like merch from the show or a hotline number, you can find all that in the description. And remember, folks,
always hold on to Smallville.
And of course, we got to say hello to our yeah, we're doing the shout outs, Tom. We're doing the brilliant people who support this podcast, our top tiers. Without you, and our grand tiers are on here too. And without you, we just couldn't do the show. I've said it before. And I want to say thanks on Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. Couldn't do it without my patrons. So sincerely, thank you. Leanne P, Raj C, Santiago M, Little Lisa, Thomas Tom Turner, Shane W, Betsy D, Abby P, Ray Harada, Karen Apple M, 99 more, Lilani N, Brett G, always hold on to Smallville, Charlie T, Garrett W, Bob K, Tom N, Jason W, Leanna Rhymes with Banana W, Nancy D, Brian G, Grape Jelly 817, and YVR Grips.
Amanda R, Teddy 127, Michael P, always on the tip. Ryan R, Randy B, Craig G, Jor-El, Heather and Greg, we just saw them. I made Talkville say butts. Brian, what?
I'm actually having lunch with Heather and Greg for this charity thing for Food on Foot, which I'm a part of, a nonprofit for homeless people, and they won the auction, so they have lunch with me coming up. Very excited. See you guys.
Oh, that's great. Tell them I said hi. I made Talkville say butts. Brian H, Eric K, Clarks M, Kristen B, Jeff and Nan Weber, Darth Achilles, Finky Early is on time. Damn, who's that? Jeanette E, General Zod, Theodore, Jammin J, Doug R, Carlos C, Ken the Limerick Guy, Corey L, Mr. Home Arcade, and Claire Brown. I'm sorry, Claire M and D Brown.
Yes. Karen M, Jules M, Eldan Supremo, Brian P, McBurts, Ginger Moose, Christoph S, Michelle M, 1.21 gigawatts, Leah W, Leah, Amanda Lynn, Sebastian F, Wolfie, Matthew and Lincoln B, Marion Louise L, Caesar G, Cindy C, Shanna Fo, Fannin, Tina E, Matt, Mav, Rick, Jen T, Randy S,
Cassie B, Brad A, Felicia R, Danny Mo Mirabel, Mary K, Sophie L, Rachel D, Steve and Nate Danger. When you're rich, you aren't crazy or eccentric. Rosenbaum fans, Sammy Sharman, Carrie Ann, the Alexander Castle, Daryl E, Jenny B76, Anna B, Monica T, Ms. M, Emily M, Jeffrey K, Katya C, previously on Smallville, Keith B, Cookie Kareem, Libertaria Danny Z from Cleveland, Biagio C, Lady J, David L, Madison H, as told by Helen.
Kelowna A, Natalia, Dr. J, Sick Ship, Sick Sheep, Sick Sheep, Sick. Damn it. Dr. G and Dr. T, Kryptonite Knight, Brandon C, Flirtatious B, Per6, Kurgan K, Naman L, or Naman E, Naman L, Smallville for Life, Bobby B, Kendrick F, CC Storm, Stacy L, Other Brother, Daryl, Melanie P, Starla, Charlie M, Cheyenne F, Bobby and Issa from Queens, AG Sisson, Heather H, Tom and Michael's friend Mickey, Allison C, Karen H, or Sierra, I think it's Karen H, Jill and Brett, The Real Chucky B, Hubs, Real Diosmar, Una, Happy Birthday Eduardo, Lori C, Laura C, Omar H, Chase M, and Sarah C. We could not do it without you. You guys rule. I hope you're loving the show. Give it up for Bryce, our producer, who's amazing. Give it up for Ryan, our co-star here, our cohort, and our amazing editor, honestly, who edits the shit out of this show and inside of you. Jason, we love you, Jason, and we appreciate you. Jason Nelkin is a genius, and I'm happy to have such an amazing team. We will see you, Tommy. Jason. I'll see you later. Guys, we'll see you soon.